Hello and welcome to VNews Bulletin. I'm Bảo Trung from Hanoi, and coming up next are our top stories. Japanese fishing technologies and equipment transferred to fishermen in Bình Định. Vietnam and Indonesia share experience in judicial reform. Seminar highlights TPP's impacts on investment attraction. A ceremony was held in the central province of Bình Định on October 31st to transfer Japanese fishing technologies and equipment to help local fishermen catch tuna offshore. State President Trần Tấn Sang attended the event. Mr. Kato, chairman of the Japan-Vietnam Friendship Association in Sakai, said following the state president's visit to Japan in March 2014, the association sent experts on a field trip to Bình Định province and then launched a pilot project to help 5 local fisher households to improve fishing and preservation process. Based on the initial positive results, the association decided to expand the project to assist 25 local households by providing them with the advanced fishing and preservation technologies in order to improve the quality of products and effectiveness of fishing activities. During the ceremony, a Japanese representative briefed the participants about the project, advantages of the fishing technologies, as well as fishing and preservation process. On this occasion, Kagoshima University of Japan and the provincial authorities signed a memorandum of understanding on cooperation in aquaculture research. President Trần Tấn Sang also presented gifts to the fishermen who have joined the project and made outstanding contributions to protecting the fatherland's territorial sovereignty. A delegation of Vietnam's Central Steering Committee for Judicial Reform is on a working visit to Indonesia with the aim of bolstering mutual understanding and judicial cooperation between the two countries. Our correspondents reported from Jakarta. During a working session with the Supreme Court of Indonesia on October 30th, Deputy Head of the Steering Committee Lê Thị Thu Ba said Vietnam's judicial reform is intended to ensure pure, strong, democratic and strict justice, and the nation focuses on reforming court activities. She also presented Vietnam's judicial and law system, the role of the Central Steering Committee for Judicial Reform, difficulties in judging activities, reform challenges and orientations. Indonesian Chief Justice Muhammad Hatta Ali introduced the role, organization and functions of the host country's court system, recent reforms and problems to be handled in the time ahead. He also mentioned procedure-related issues, mechanisms for selecting and appointing judges, those for ensuring courts' independence, transparency and credibility, existing challenges and renovation trends. Earlier, the Vietnamese delegation had working sessions with Indonesia's Department of Justice and Human Rights, the Judicial Commission, and the Supreme Court's Judicial Training Center. The impacts of the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement on investment attraction and trade in Vietnamese localities was the focus of discussions at a seminar held in the central city of Da Nang. More in the following report. Addressing the event, Vice Chairman of the Da Nang People's Committee Phum Tân Viet said the TPP will bring both opportunities and challenges to local enterprises. He urged them to gear up for the global economic integration through the deal. Meanwhile, Nestor Sherby, head of the American Chamber of Commerce Customs and Trade Facilitation Working Group, said intermediate goods account for 60% of global trade, while more than 30% of transactions are undertaken by a corporation's affiliates. He said the TPP's rule of origin will provide Vietnamese firms with a chance to become suppliers of foreign invested and other companies in the global supply chain. However, he noted that, apart from the recent positive changes in the custom laws and relevant administrative procedures, there should be more improvements in state management regulations for goods subjected to specialized inspection. Small and medium-sized enterprises contribute 40% of the country's GDP, but the proportion is expected to fall as competition will increase under new free trade agreements. More details coming up next.
Under such a scenario, small and medium-sized enterprises will likely experience a smaller market share, decline in production, and more bankruptcies. Small and medium-sized enterprises make up 95% of the total businesses, but they are limited in size and the production of value-added products. Most of them do business in trade and services. These enterprises are also limited in capital, lack high-quality human resources and modern technology, and have poor business governance. They also find it hard to borrow loans from banks. Those in agriculture, garment and textiles, food processing, and wood furniture depend on imported material and production technology. To support small and medium-sized enterprises, the government and authorities have created 14 programs for information management, 15 for technology development, and 8 others for finance and tax. However, many experts said that authorities had designed policies but not carried them out. No report had been issued on the effectiveness of such policies to these enterprises. Under global integration, Vietnam has new opportunities to develop small and medium-sized enterprises in multinational groups with leading technology. Experts also noted that in order to take advantage of this opportunity, the government should release new policies to support these enterprises, so that they can overcome capital limitation and increase high-quality human resource training and other conditions to promote reform and creativity.
Vietnam sent a total of 99,415 workers abroad in the first 10 months of this year, surpassing the yearly target by 4.6%. More in the following. The Ministry of Labour, Invalids and Social Affairs reported the number includes 31,772 female workers. In October alone, 8,857 workers were sent to Taiwan, China, Japan, the Republic of Korea, Malaysia and Saudi Arabia. The ministry is launching a project to support the transport of Vietnamese employees to foreign markets in accordance with national agreements and labour supply contracts between domestic companies with foreign partners. Last year, Vietnam sent a record 105,840 workers abroad, surpassing the yearly target by 10%. We have more news coming up next. Stay tuned. Ho Chi Minh City reported by mid-October the flow of new and expanded foreign direct investment into the locality rose by 4.5% from the same period last year to over $3 billion. Specifically, in the period, Ho Chi Minh City licensed 456 foreign invested projects valued at nearly $2.5 billion. Of the investments, 353 are wholly foreign-owned projects, capitalized at more than $866 million, and 103 joint venture projects worth over $1.5 billion. During this period, 22 projects worth more than $72 million were dissolved and transferred to other provinces. The Vietnam Real Estate Association reported the country's property market is on the path to recovery and promises to remain busy in the last few months of the year. Our reporters with the full story.
This figure showed a positive signal of the property market. Domestic investors have pinned a high hope in the recovery of the market as Vietnam completed negotiations on the Trans-Pacific Partnership Agreement, which investors and distributors expected to help increase the liquidity of the estate goods. Since the beginning of this year, the property market has shown its magnet against other fields such as stocks, gold, foreign currency, or savings. By the end of the third quarter of this year, Hanoi saw 5,300 successful transactions, up 70%. The number of transactions in Ho Chi Minh City reached 5,100, doubling that of the same period last year.
In recent years, the practice of reading in print is being challenged by the dominance of social media. People, especially the youth, are keen to surf the internet, skim through online information and read e-books. They seem to neglect the habit of reading printed publications. So is reading culture falling into oblivion? Let's find out more.
Normally, I spend around 3 to 4 hours a day reading books.
During my spare time, I often spend an hour reading books about economy, science, and soft skills. Since my major at university is managing, I look for books on this field. Books about how to deal with things in daily life are also on my list of favorites.
I like to read melodrama or non-fiction novels.
It's not difficult to see the availability and accessibility of web-based information makes it a convenient outlet for young people. It seems that to them, updating their status on Facebook and following or retweeting others on Twitter is much more interesting than turning the pages of a book to improve their knowledge. An online survey by DI Market Research in 5 large cities, Hanoi, Haiphong, Da Nang, Cần Thơ, and Ho Chi Minh City, in July 2015 shows that only a third of Vietnamese people read a book every day, while nearly half read on the internet every day. However, those who are keen on reading paper-based texts consider this an effective way to improve their focus, concentration, analytical thinking skills, and writing skills.
I often seek information on the internet for entertainment, since it is very quick to access. But for academic issues, I prefer paper books and databases in our school's library. Moreover, it brings out more emotion turning a book from page to page. I myself believe that there will always be certain amount of reader trust in printed publications over web-based ones, since the knowledge they provide is very useful for them.
In an effort to develop literacy and reading culture among Vietnamese people, the Ministry of Culture, Sports and Tourism and relevant agencies are implementing a 230 billion Vietnam Đồng project. Under the project, by 2020, 55% of provinces nationwide are said to have their own libraries with high-tech management systems. 90% of schools, universities and vocational schools have libraries, and the ratio of people who read books frequently are expected to increase to 65%. To promote reading, Ho Chi Minh City, socio-economic and cultural center in southern Vietnam, we open a walking book street next month, along with detailed plans to raise public awareness about reading, train librarians, and guide reading skills. It will also encourage cultural agencies and organizations to have developed the habit among youth.
Recently, young people's reading habits have been shifting from novels and literature books to those to improve soft skills or self-help books. That is a very positive sign.
I believe the printed material will continue while the digital will go up. But we have been going around the world. Still, that proportion is 90% printed material and 10% digital.
The digital era is upon us. In many ways, this is a good sign. Books and information will become cheaper and more easily accessible. But a literary culture that has defined itself through paper books for centuries will surely have its own values that need to be upheld.
And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thank you for your attention. For more information, you can log on to our website at www.vietnamplus.vn. We'll see you soon.